So um, that's what's up. That's what's up. It's two past the half. Some feedback I've been getting from somebody that I kind of like and can't stand all at the same time, but that's been so supportive of the show is sometimes my quote unquote warm up goes longer than expected. So I'm gonna try to cut down on the warm up, but the warm up to me is really. I know some of you guys don't get notification right away, so I wait for you to get your notification or reminders that I'm on air doing my show, and then I'll work into the show. I'm gonna go ahead and start the show. I want to say good evening and welcome to the show. As always, we're getting closer to Christmas, and I'm still feeling kind of Scrooge's with a tinge of um, Grinch. I ain't gonna lie to you. Um, but I try not to let my feelings seep through and spoil it for other people. I understand why I feel what I feel, and I've said this before. So, um, I guess it was the Emotions had a song back in the 70s, What Do the Lonely Do at Christmas? I'm not necessarily lonely because I enjoy my own solitude. I enjoy my own company. But I still feel melancholy. I still feel a little down because for a lot of us, our parents aren't around. And there were two things that made Christmas for me. When I was a kid, what made Christmas for me was seeing the gifts that my elders would give. And then we were really about giving, swapping gifts then. So, we would go to the little stores, whether it was Walgreens or Woolworth or H&L Green and some of these stores around New Orleans. And, my grandmother used to get off. Maybe she really liked it or maybe she did it for her grandkids. But if you knew my grandmother, she must have liked it because my grandmother was straight no chase as well. Um, I would get her this little gift set of Gina Tay. It was the little bath salts. It was the little talcum powder and the little toilet spray. No, not for the toilet. Ooh, that toilet. Um, I call it cologne on a budget. And I would always get my mom something. My mom always worked her butt off, and she didn't buy herself. Um, Let me just say this. Take a step back. My mom and my dad split when I was young. My mom and my dad still had a marriage as far as the kids were concerned. My mom never said a bad word about my dad. My dad never said a bad word about my mom. And the only two times in my life, my dad threatened me with violence. One was when I punched my sister, because my sister was 4 years my senior, and they used to pick on me. They wanted me to be tough because, like I told you yesterday, I had a brother I only had one brother, and that brother was 17 years my senior. I had two sisters, and my sister right above me, Caroline, 4 years my senior, she used to pick on me incessantly. I mean, nonstop. So I got to a point where I would fight back, and finally I got big enough and strong enough to fight her. And one day she hit me, and I hauled off, and I hit her. I had started boxing, and I didn't know what a liver punch or a shot to the spleen do. But I hit my sister in the liver, and she buckled. And I didn't know what it was, but I try to play bad. Yeah, girl, I done told you about messing with me. Don't be messing with people. I'm tired of you. But my dad got mad. He said, "You don't do that to your sister. You could hurt her." And I'm thinking, I'm this big. My sister is like this at the time. What happened to all those times when she was picking on me? You didn't see that? So my dad threatened me with violence that time. He said, "You don't do anything that could hurt your sister. And at some point in her life, she may not be able to have a child." The only other time my dad threatened me with violence was I was about 14, and there was something that I wanted. And to be honest with you, I can't even remember what it was, but my mom couldn't give it to me. Now, we were poor, but we had two O's, Poor. The difference between being poor and being poor, when you poor, you come home and the lights are off. The difference between being poor and poor, there are times when you have a wish sandwich where you eat mayonnaise and mustard and bread and you wish for meat. We were poor in that if we were out of ham or lunch meat, like your mom, we ain't got no meat. She said, well, look at my purse and get a quarter and go to the store and get a loaf of bread, cents of luncheon meat. Well, 15 cents of luncheon meat was about 4 or 5 slices. So it was enough to make 2 or 4 sandwiches. At the store, of course, he knew my parents. So I guess there was one hand, it was neighborhoods back there. Understand? Um, but me being me, I would try to get back at my sister where I would double up the meat and I get, a nickel of cheese and I put a slice of meat, a piece of cheese and another slice of meat and I try to use up all the meat and she got to go for herself. And invariably, my mom would give her something or make me go back and get her some meat as well. So we were poor, but I didn't know we were poor. My parents didn't behave like they were poor. My dad worked public service and he got paid every week. And I always got an allowance. At one point, it was $1 a week. And at one point, it was $5 a week. And back then, that was a lot of money. And I assumed that everybody was raised the way we were raised. But my mom couldn't give me something. In my 14-year-old childish mind, and understand when we were kids, the difference between being poor and being poor. When you poor, you don't know the struggles of your parents. You don't know what struggles they had to go on. My dad to try to help maintain 2 households. His house didn't give my mom something in addition to this little court ordered money. You understand what I'm saying? And still give us allowance. So we didn't know. I didn't understand all of those struggles and sacrifices that they made because we were children and they allowed us to have a childhood where we were not confounded and compounded with all of these problems of adulting. Some of the things that we have experienced as adults, and unfortunately, for whatever reason, sometimes the kids become a part of it. When you post the things that go on in your house, everybody knows about it. The kids don't have a choice but to know about it. They may be wearing hand-me-downs, they may be wearing this, maybe so many things, and kids are rootless. I was one of those kids where I would talk about you. I was not the biggest kid when I was small, so one of my defenses was I was quick witted and I had jokes. I could make up a joke off the top of my head, and some of you have fallen victim to that. So, in the spirit of Christmas, I want to say Merry Christmas. My melancholy is because as a child, everybody gave me something. As I became a parent, then I passed that on to my children. So my second chapter of Christmas was going by my mom's house on Christmas Eve and then sneaking at some point, letting the kids get wrapped up in the Christmas celebration. Us, all the siblings would be there with all of their children. So it would be like a small one family, extended family reunion. My mom would make this big pot of gumbo. You understand? My mom would make some eggnog, fresh eggnog. And you guys know I always have sippages. But that's the way we live in New Orleans. Everybody has a bar in their house. So we always had, some libation. And when you got to be a certain age, you didn't necessarily have to be an adult. You learn about alcohol at home. My mom was like, we're going to teach you so when you go out in the street, first of all, you know what you're getting yourself into. And second of all, you know your limit. So we didn't drink to get quote unquote white girl wasted. When my mom passed, I had gone through a divorce. And then I had started to live a life of solitude. So now I not only miss sneaking the toys into the house while we were gone, and the kids coming back, and I was like, "Oh wow, Santa Claus came early while we was gone." Well, Daddy, can we open up early? Can we? No, Santa Claus is gonna say wait till in the morning. So they couldn't even sleep right. But I got to stage the toys under the tree. You understand what I'm saying? Because we had to uphold this the spirit of Christmas. And even though it was commercialized, we wanted the kids to believe that there was this benevolent being that gave to children for doing the right thing, for minding their manners and minding their elders and being respectful. And as my mom would say, go out here and act like you got some home training, not like a little heathen. So all of those things are fond memories in my head. And I'm sure some of you have some of those same fond memories. So the first part of this show is all about that. Wherever we were, whatever it is that lead you to feeling this melancholy at Christmas time. My sister from another mister, she had three brothers. Now I'm the only brother that she has. We go back like Afro Pups and Bell Bottoms. So I know some of the things she go through, even though we don't talk every day. When we do talk, it's like it was yesterday. You know what I mean? We don't miss a beat. So all of these things, I guess what I'm saying is in 2017, I had a turtle dove. And if you've been around long enough, I talked about this before, that lit pre-dawn on the banister of my balcony. And it kept cooing, coo, 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 coo. And it woke me up. And I had been feeling melancholy to the point that I was really angry. I was angry at the world and didn't understand why I was angry. I was angry because when we're young, the court system kind of makes sure that dad gets visitation at some holidays. But when you get older, the kids tend to gravitate towards their mom and their new families. You understand? So I had started to feel all of these things, didn't understand what I was feeling, and I was a little angry. So I'm pissed to the utmost of pissosity that this bird, this turtle dove, has awakened me. So I looked through the blinds and I saw it was this, and I'm like, that looks, no, that's a turtle dove? So I start whispering like it could hear me or what have you. Then I ran to get my camera on my phone and I tried to take pictures of it before I could startle it, before it was startled and flew off. So I slowly opened the blinds and I got a couple of pictures, and this thing started posing for me. And the next thing I know, this thing went through this metamorphosis. It actually, its body composition actually changed. And I started to feel like this was a messenger, or my mom had come to me. in the spirit form. And suddenly I started to feel a joy about me. And what the bird actually said to me was it's time to start making new memories. So to you guys that are feeling to you guys that are feeling a little lonesome at Christmas, to you guys whose lives have changed, who are going through the empty nest syndrome, or going through a divorce, or going through whatever you're going through, it's time for us to collectively start making some new memories. But more importantly, it's imperative that we don't spoil Christmas for other people because we're not having the kind of Christmas that we're accustomed to or that we want to have. So I meant to save that. But I'm going to tell you anyway. My name is Hank Batiste. The show is called What? OMITDALOGIC. And tonight, this is what not, I usually talk about the voices in my head. Today is like the voices inside. This little thing inside me that's saying that you need to say this because there are some people that are feeling that. There's some people that are feeling something and they can't articulate it. They can't put their finger on it. They don't understand why they're feeling what they're feeling. So it is what it is. Let's hmm. mm, I told you I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good. No, I don't have a new love in my life, and no, I don't have this, and no, I don't have that. I have budding friendships and relationships. You understand? And what happens at this point, understand that life is a process. More importantly, life is what? It's a journey. It's not a destination. You don't get to a point where you actually get to be stagnant. We're going through things as long as we're here. So people brought into our lives for a reason. Sometimes it's to bring a smile to your face. Sometimes is, you know, something that's corny is just being there for you. You don't say nothing to them, they don't say nothing to you. But somehow you bring value to each other. That's a reason. Sometimes it's the season. That's the season. And some people are meant to be in your life for a lifetime. And that's some of those people that I call, my sisters and some of my brothers. We don't talk every day, but when we do talk, it means a lot. It means a hell of a lot. So, to be honest with you, and hollering and screaming at you, since some of you have been with this show even before it was a show, January of 2017, I said that I saw the abomination that would be Trump. And when he took office, I said the only person that could take him down would be Joe Biden. I made that prediction back in 2017, January 2017. Since then, I've made a many a prediction. I've shared some of my Creole powers with you to explain some of the things that I knew to unfold. And when it came to fruition, sometimes I took it upon myself to brag and boast and say, yeah, I told you so. Last week, I told you 51 is better than 50. So I had a pretty good idea where we were going. For the last year, I've been telling you, since Joe Manchin started showing his behind, I said, if we hold on, and this is why I was so hard on Pelosi and on Schumer. I said, if we get to a point where we get a big enough majority, Joe Manchin is going to have no choice but to come on over. And Sinema Right now, she's a corporate lapdog. This woman started out, made her bones as this green environmentalist representative from Arizona. And that's who we thought we would get. And the first time she was elected to the Senate, she had been in Congress as a, you know, House of Representatives, they stay for 6 months, then they start politicking again because they got 2-year elections. So they really don't have an impact. Senators have 6 years to start shit and finish shit. And she made this 180-degree swing from being this environmentalist green party. I wouldn't even call her a champion for the environment, what have you. But I will say she became a corporate lapdog because it became known that these corporations were paying her. And everything she was doing was for them. It wasn't for the people of Arizona. The people of Arizona censored her, and she still holds true to where she was with the corporations because she didn't have anything to worry about for another 4 years and counting down. So I said, if we had just enough, 2 more to nullify them, then they would have no choice but get on board. Then I said something. I was talking to one of the people that uh, she talks to me, and I talk to her, and we bounce things back and forth. This is me. Because, like I said, this show is not intended for you to adopt my way of thinking. This show is intended with one and only one purpose, that we can build some type of unity. The unity is not always going to be a consensus, but where we're going, the objective is just that. You may take one road, I may take another, but all roads lead to that said objective for the betterment of this place that we call America, with all of its faults, so that our children's children. So let me just tell you this. Everybody that's on this page right now that I'm looking at, you're either a mother, your father, or you're at a point in your life where you may be a grandmother or grandfather, which means you have more days behind you than you have in front of you. Let me say that one more again. In 2016, I realized I was turning 57 years old. The chances of me turning 57 again would be 114 years old. The chances of me living to be 114 is slim. My middle name is not Methuselah. I realized that I had more days behind than I had ahead. So something hit me in the gut and said, this is about legacy. What is your legacy and what are you going to leave? Last week, I talked about the impact that I had on my grandson. It made my day, but it made his as well. Because he went back and he told everybody, he said, my big papa, my grandpa talked about me. He dedicated a show to me. What do you think is going to happen when he becomes a father and he becomes a grandfather? He's going to try to be a better man because of those relationships. So this is where we are. If you've got more days behind than you have ahead, the present I want you to give your children, and your children's children, and the gift to this society is legacy. Now, when I say that, I'm going to say this and I'm going to leave this alone. You've got more days behind than you have ahead. If you're 60, the chances of you living to be 120, slim to none. If you're 45, there's a chance that you could live to be 90. But that second 45 is not going to be as fruitful as that first 45. So what are you going to leave? Now we are the elders. We have to start behaving as such. We have to start setting an example that our children's children is going to be proud of. I'm going to tell you one more secret. It's hard being a father, especially when you have children in more than one household. As a mother, you think it's tough being a mother. Try being a remote control dad where you have no say in what this kid eats, when he goes to sleep, how they learn, what schools they go to, etc., etc., etc. It hurts. It's so much easier being a grandparent because that time that you spend with your grandchildren is going to be about the quality that you make it. So, what's going to be your legacy, folks? It's the elders in your family. If you're an aunt, if you're an uncle, and you have these children that come in contact with you, nieces and great nephews and what have you, how do you help to shape them into productive, secure, intelligent, balanced adults? That's what it's about. So that's what I want for you for Christmas. That's what I want. Think about your own legacy. This show, it kicks my behind because I'm supposed to be retired. And when I get ready to go somewhere, I have to work it around this show. Depending on what the show is, I will do 20 hours of research to make sure that all my I's are dotted and all my T's are crossed before I do this show. Because some of you little smart ass people are going to challenge me. You're going to call me on the carpet when I say XYZ. And why you say that? When I talked about Nancy Pelosi, oh, you women jumped all over me. But no, I told you so. And I'm going to say it again. If she had really been a different type of leader, we wouldn't have lost the House. And AOC is supposed to have some kind of ethics violation. I saw the story, but I didn't get a chance to read the story. So when you got the guys find out what AOC, Ocasio, Castro, the little chick that she's from New York, used to be a bartender, now she's a representative in the House of Representatives. But all of her things, she has some, she gives something. You ain't supposed to keep me sharp. You're behind doll anyway, so don't make me don't make me get in that behind. Whoo! Be calling me preparation A. But all jokes aside, how can she have ethics violation when Nancy Pelosi in her entire made the stock law made millions, hundreds of millions of dollars that we know of from trading on the stock market? Why is she not under ethics violations? And not just her, any of them that did. Because I'm going to tell you this. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. then I'm leaving this political shit alone. This will be my last political show from time to time to time to time. I will not be focused for the next 2 years on all of the ins and outs headed towards the presidential elections and the elections of 2024. I did it from 2017 to 2022. That's 5 years, folks. I'm gonna start talking about things like this legacy. I'm gonna start talking about things that affect the Black community, that affect the Latin community. I'm gonna start talking about things that affect my Native American community, even if they don't necessarily look at me as one of them. All the Indians didn't look like, Big Chief, well, Mass, him look at pale face. No, no, no. Mm-mm. So I'm gonna start doing other things. I'm gonna start talking about things that are pertinent, that are relevant, and that are current to us as a people. But I need you guys to buy in. I need you guys to give me feedback. When I put something out there, one of the format changes moving into 2023 is you will know what the subject matter is from week to week. Up until now, that's been a well kept secret because sometimes something touches my heart 20 minutes before airtime and everything I planned on doing, I throw out the window that I have the background done. So I can move in 3 or 4 different directions because it's all kind of connected. You will know what the upcoming subject is. To everybody that I'm looking at right now, your responsibility is to answer. Some of these, when I pose a question, give me some answers, give me some feedback. That's when your opinion counts. Don't be sitting up here, you know who I'm talking about, and call me and tell me this, that, nothing, that. Shut up. Kick rocks. Folks, I'm in this joyous mood tonight because 51 is better than 50. I told you that last week, and it came to fruition. So it's not just me, it's everybody in the state of Georgia. It's all of you people that hear the sound of my voice. And as irritating as it can be from time to time, from week to week, and have to read my stuff on my page incessantly. All of us get to celebrate now because it's all of us who made sure that there are 51 senators that are supposed to do our bidding, that are supposed to serve us. Now, it doesn't mean that we stop working because the other side of this is not just electing people, it's providing accountability and oversight. Oversight simply means that when they do something that step out of line, we do what's necessary to make sure that they do what they were hired, not elected, because we hired them. And when we realize we hired them, we realize that we can fire them. Joe Manchin did what Joe Manchin did because of 2 reasons. A, it was financially advantageous to him. B, he was this no-name senator from the little state of West Virginia, Miss West Virginia, your hard-headed behind, and 2 of you online now. Nobody knew who Joe Manchin was. In order to become president, not only must you have money, you must have name recognition. You must have a name that's a household word. So when you say Joe Biden, everybody knows who he is. In 2004, when Barack Obama gave that talk, 2004, 2008. No, it was 2004. He gave that talk at the Democratic National Convention. That wind up being the catalyst that made him a household name. So suddenly he had name recognition. Hillary has it because of Bill. So here was a chance for him to make a name for himself in hopes of running and being a Democratic candidate for 2024. Now, when it happens, you got it here first. It's not going to work because, as old people would say, he throws draws with a lot of people, me namely. By the same token, I'm not going to do this for the next 2 years, but I will say we have to come up with somebody that can beat Ron DeSantis because this is the devil's incarnate. And right now, he's the next Trump to beat. We have to have someone that could beat this ex-vice president who's going to play this hero card within 50. Now comes the joyous part. Let's take a breath. Let's enjoy our Christmas. Remember the thing that I asked for Christmas? That's what I need you to give to me. And then giving it to me, you're giving it to yourself. You're giving it to those people that you call children, grandchildren, and those generations to follow. And lastly, before I go, I'm going to give a shout out to the sister, and she's not on here tonight, but she sent me this thing. Audrey Williams did this little children's book. And when she did it, it was around the time of my granddaughter's birthday. So I said, well, I want to support you. How much of the book? She says, no, give me their address and I'll send it to them. So she sent these books to my granddaughter. Then she turned around and she insulted me. A couple of days ago, she sent me an inbox message. She says, if you advertise for me, I will give you $25. The hell I look like taking her $25? It's Christmas time. The books are good. My granddaughters enjoyed them. So I'm doing this for her out the goodness of my heart. Why? Because me and Audrey go back too. We're both Scorpios. She get on my nerve, but she put up with my ass. Just like I put up with her ass. So if you can help somebody out, what you get in return pays dividends. This woman went and got married, and before I know it, her husband came, who didn't know me from Adam, and he started supporting me in my show. And they drop in from time to time. I don't expect you to be here every week. If you can make it, cool. But you have no excuse for not. Y'all got the loquacive talking to thing tonight. So with that, I'm going to say, help the lady out. The only person I didn't support is, and I'm going to say this, I don't care if it makes some people mad. I've got a few friends who are travel agents. I'm not going to support one and not support the other. So if one tells me they have a trip going someplace and I think it's of value, I'll go. That's me supporting. But I'm not going to support one over the other. So I didn't do that. And I have a really good friend who's been doing this travel agency for a while. She's good at it, but I can't pick her over everybody. I said all of that to say this. If you can help somebody out. With that, I'm going to say, see you next week. Probably going to be my last show of the year. Because you guys need to start getting ready for Christmas. I need to make up my mind where I'm going to be for Christmas. But I will see you right here. Same Baptist place, same Baptist time. Before you go, The other thing you could give me for Christmas is get to my damn page, go to my YouTube, OMITDALOGIC. That is right there. Hashtag OMITDALOGIC. If you put that in your search on YouTube, you find me. Sign your behind up. And shows like last week and this week, play it for those that you care about. And I promise you, it'll be infectious. Through simple messages, each one reach one so each one can teach one. It's always important. My name is Hank Batiste. This is OMITDALOGIC. I will see you. And as always important, I wish you love. I wish you peace. 2 fingers up to the sky. You had great. That's all I got for you tonight, folks. Good night. I'm out of here. Stage left.